Hello everyone, welcome to Last Bench Listener. In this session and in this series of session, we are going to introduce you to most powerful iOS language, Swift. In this session, we are going to discuss about introduction, history, why Swift, why we need to learn Swift, characteristics of Swift. Finally, we will discuss what is Xcode. Swift is Apple's new language for developing apps for iOS and macOS, and it's designed to become a foremost computer language in the mobile and desktop space. It is most powerful and interactive programming language for macOS, iOS, watchOS and tvOS. Writing Swift code is interactive and fun. The syntax is concise, it's expressive. Swift includes modern features so developers love it. Swift code is safe by design. It also produces software that runs lightning fast. Swift development was started in July 2010 by Chris Lantner with the eventual collaboration of many other programmers at Apple. Swift took language ideas from Objective-C, Rust, Ruby, Python, C#, CLU and so far too many others to list. On June 2, 2014, the Apple Worldwide Developer Conference application becomes the first publicly released app written in Swift. This is beta version. But the company did not promise that the final version of Swift would be source code compatible with the test version. Apple planned to make source code converter available if needed for the release. Swift reached the 1.0 milestone on September 19, 2014 with Gold Master of Xcode 6.0 for iOS. Swift 1.1 was released on October 22, 2014 alongside the launch of Xcode 6.1. Swift 1.2 was released on April 8, 2015 along with Xcode 6.3. Swift 2 was announced at WWDC 2015 and was made available for publishing apps in the App Store in September 21, 2015. Swift 3 was released on September 13, 2016. Swift 4 was released on September 19, 2017. Swift 4 builds on the strength of Swift 3. It has delivering great robustness and stability, providing source code compatibility with Swift 3, making improvements to the standard library, adding features like smart key paths and serialization while shortening build times and reducing the size of app binaries. Why Swift? Objective-C to develop for Apple platforms. Developer had been producing high-quality apps for OS X and iOS for years. Apple had a few things in mind. First, Objective-C is an older language. And while this is not always a problem, it leads to some difficulties in this case. The syntax of Objective was solidified period to the rise of prominent scripting language in the 1990s that popularized more streamlined and elegant syntax, example JavaScript, Python, PHP, Ruby and others. This makes Objective-C feel strange to most developers when they get started. So, its syntax can be implemented to developer productivity. Additionally, as an older language, Objective-C missing many advancements of developers in modern language currently enjoy. Also, Swift aims to be safe. Objective-C did not aim to be unsafe, but things have changed quite a bit since Objective-C was released in 1980s. For example, the Swift compiler aims to minimize the undefined behaviors, which is intended to save the developer time debugging code that failed to during runtime of application. Swift is to be suitable replacement for the C family of languages like C, C++ and Objective-C. That means Swift has to be fast, indeed. Swift performance is comfortable to these languages in most cases. It gives you safety and performance all in a clean modern syntax. This is quite expressive. Developers can write code that feels natural. This features makes Swift a joy to write and easy to read, which is make it a great for collaborating on player projects. People want shift to the general purpose program language. This desire was reflected by the decision to open source Swift in December 2015 open sourcing languages not only invites developer involvement to help the language process but also make it easier for developer to port the languages to other systems beyond Mac OS and iOS. Apple hopes that developers will use Swift to write applications for a variety of mobiles and desktop platforms and to develop back-end web applications as well. Swift is intended to become mainstream programming language that is the best solution for writing a variety of applications on the variety of systems. If you want to develop iOS or macOS apps, then we basically need to learn Swift. Native apps outperform the cross-platform hybrid apps, and the built-in Sprite Kit makes it easier than ever to build 2D games with Swift. It is beginner friendliness. Heavily influenced by Python and Ruby, Swift was designed to beginner friendly and fun to use. Both of this will help greatly in terms of motivation. However, considering that Swift is very new, resources may be bit lagging in number or easily outdated, but this situation will definitely improve with the time. It's easy to understand. As a high-level language, Swift its reader quite close to English, so it is rather easy to pick for beginners. Apple also took lessons from all the mistakes people were making with the Objective-C, made designed to prevent beginners from shooting themselves in the foot. Next one, scalability. It is easy to maintain. It is statically typed language and Xcode will check our code for errors before it builds our app. This means errors will be easier to track down. Furthermore, it's more strict with the definition of things. We will have strange and unexpected errors, which means our code base will be easier to maintain as it grows in size and complexity. It is fast also. So, as a statically typed language, Swift is faster than dynamically typed language because things are more clearly defined. Thus, when apps is running, our machine's resources will not be wasted on the checking definitions of something in our code. Optimized memory usage. Resource usage is an important figure for mobile apps. So, Swift uses ARC, which means automatic resource accounting that will track and manage our app's memory usage in real time to make sure it does not take too much memory. This is quite useful, especially as our app grows larger. Next is community. Community is the size is very important because the larger programming language community is, the more support we would be likely to get. As we step into programming world, we will soon understand how vital support is. As the developer community is all about giving and receiving help. Moreover, the large community, more people will be building useful tools to make development in that particular language easier. Now, there are over 600 notable programming languages worldwide. So, let's get into details of Swift community size. It's 10th most followed programming language on Stack Overflow. Also, it is fast growing meetup community. It gets over 240 useful GitHub project to easy development. Career opportunities. Generally, iOS apps are known to be more profitable than Android apps, thus companies often prefer getting an iOS apps first. There is a high demand for skilled Swift developers. According to Indeed.com, the average offered salary for the Swift developers is up to 112k USD dollars, which is higher than average offered salary for other language skills. The future of Swift is mostly dependent on the future of Apple, which so far seems very bright since Apple will be focused on improving Swift in the years to come. Characteristics of Swift. It provides modern programming features and it provides the formation of C and syntax of Objective-C. Its code is simple to read and understand. It provides fantastic way to code iOS and OS X apps. It makes use of safer programming patterns. Swift comes with playground feature where Swift programmers can write their code and execute it to see the results immediately. Swift combines the best modern language thinking with wisdom from the wider Apple engineering culture. The compiler is optimized for performance and the language is optimized for development without compromising on either. What is Xcode? Xcode is Apple's foremost environment for writing apps, which includes an editor, debugger, project manager, and the compiler tool. Chain need to be take Swift code and turn it into the runnable code for iOS and macOS. In the next session, we will discuss about Swift environment setup and the procedure to install. Would you need more updates? Subscribe this channel. Thank you for watching.